Hey guys, we have some very interesting news on the MoFi-Gate. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay guys, I want to say thank you to Mario Douglas who signaled the recent news I am about to tell you. Clearly, I went much more in depth and I'll tell you what I discovered and the different aspects related to this issue and the evolution. Something very interesting for all of you guys who have some MoFi releases, especially the DSD versions. So, just a few days ago, there was finally the acceptance of the settlement of the class action. It made its proposal, they found an agreement, and then finally the judge said, okay, this can be done. So practically, all the titles all over the place in different websites are saying that MoFi is going to have to pay $25 million in refunding approximately 40,000 customers. Now, these are just estimates, and things are not exactly this way. And in fact, here I have some information. I read practically, not all, but the main points of the papers of the class action and the settlement. That was very long to do, but it wasn't clear from the different online news reports and things like that. It wasn't clear what are the specifications, what are the aspects of this decision, and if it's final. Okay, so the main thing I want to say, this is important, is how MoFi is going to refund us, all of us. Three main ways. First, you can ask the full refund of a specific record. Otherwise, you can ask them a 5% cashback on a specific title, meaning you're keeping the record and you're asking them 5% in cashback because of the forgery, clearly. If you don't know what we're talking about, if you don't know what MoFi-Gate is, here is a link. You're also going to find the link in the video description, clearly. Otherwise, the third solution is that you can ask for a 10% credit, meaning you can keep the record and you have the 10% of value of that record you can spend again in MoFi. Okay, and this cannot exceed 110% of the suggested retail price, which means that if you bought a record, which according to MoFi, the value is $150, and you got it in a shop for $200, it's your problem because they consider it 150, actually a little more since it's 110%. In any case, keep that in mind. So who is entitled to have this refund, this reimbursement? Well, only class members. But don't worry, I mean, that's a very broad section. It includes everyone who does specific things. We'll see in a second. There's actually a specific definition, which I'll give you in a while. In order to be able to ask or a refund or a cashback or a credit, you're going to have to submit a valid qualification claim with a specific form. Actually, I am going to put a link at the papers of the class action. You're going to find a lot of information, and in the end, I'll signal in the video description at which page there is already the form, even though it's not filled in. There's no links, it's missing some details because it's just a draft. But in a few days, it's going to become active. In a sec, you'll understand how. I just wanted to signal this though, and in the video description, I'm putting links to a lot of things, including the link to the classaction.org PDF that I found. So you're going to have to submit a form where you specify all the different records, etc., etc. You have to give proof of purchase. You have to give proof of ownership. Afterwards, I'll explain better. And at that point, MoFi will decide if it can give you back some cash or whatever you choose. So what is the definition to exactly what is refunded and who is a class member. You have to follow in this definition, which I'm going to read now. All original retail customers in the United States, meaning who is a class member, who from March 19th, 2007 through July 27, 2022, purchased either directly from a defendant, which means MoFi and all the different parts of MoFi, Music Direct, etc., or other retail merchants, new and unused Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab Inc. MoFi records, which were marked by defendants, see above, using the series labeling descriptors original master recording, as we all know, and or Ultra Disc one step, that were sourced from original analog master tapes and which utilized a direct stream digital transfer step in the mastering chain, and provided that said purchasers still own said recordings, the applicable records. Excluding from the class are persons who obtain subject applicable records from other sources. Okay, so first of all, I want to say that I'm going to put a link here below in the video description where you're going to find a document listing the 123 records which have been obtained through a DSD passage and for which you can claim a refund or whatever you want, okay? Check that list. In fact, when I talk about applicable records, this is what I mean, the records that you find in this list. So what are the issues clearly here that immediately jump to the eye? Well, first of all, it's only for US customers. So the rest of the world, goodbye. Okay, then you have to file a claim with that specific form that I told you before. So that means it's not just something obvious. You're going to have to do some paperwork and send it. Then you have to demonstrate the proof of purchase, meaning an invoice, a receipt, something. You have to go through all your records. Not that many people have those receipts, especially if they went in physical shops. You're done if you bought everything physical. I bet if you got them online, you're probably going to find the emails with the invoices, but otherwise, that's already very difficult. But I mean, it's reasonable. You have to prove that they're your own records. Otherwise, you could claim to have a refund and then pass them over to a friend who can do the same. Okay, they could easily bypass that with the serial numbers. In any case, I understand that you do have to demonstrate that you purchased these at a certain point in your life. Plus, you have to also demonstrate the proof of ownership, meaning that you still have the records, meaning that if you sold them in these last weeks since the MoFi problem, a MoFi-Gate, you're done. This is only valid if you still have the records with you. So, one last thing is that, once again, you cannot fill in the form and send it yet. I'm sure it's going to be activated very soon, and they have to give notice. I've checked in several magazines, on the Facebook page, and in different areas, in different parts of social media and things like that. There's no trace of this clearly on their website, so keep your eyes open, and I will try to give some updates. Nevertheless, remember that you must send the documentation by September 21st, 2023. And I would say quite strangely, maybe I'm not an expert clearly in law and all these things, it says though that there's going to be a final approval, which is scheduled for October 30th. What I think is just a pro forma. I mean, something they just have to do after some time has passed, and then they say, yes, okay. Because the judge already said that the settlement, meaning the agreement between the two parts, because the class action was a lot of people against them, they found this solution, and even though there was some controversy, they said it wasn't fair, etc., the judge said, no, baloney. This is how it is, it's going to be this. So my concern is that it's not going to be 25 million. It's going to be a certain amount, and it's dependent on people who have to invest even more time to ask what they're supposed to have. I'm glad there is this opportunity. So if you're interested in this, clearly, please do it, because you're going to miss your call, you're going to miss everything, and MoFi is going to keep their money and going to be nice and happy, which I don't think it's fair. I'm sorry to say, because they did what they did, and now these are the consequences. But if people don't take action, nothing's going to happen. And I think it's almost offensive to even suggest the 10% credit, which means you're going to give them even more money based on an initial forgery. Okay, I guess that's an option we're going to have to consider. Okay, guys, please leave your comments if some passages aren't clear or I got them wrong, maybe. I mean, I did spend time, but I'm not, once again, I'm not an expert in this. Please write here below your opinion or the facts if you know better, okay? Thank you again for watching, and remember, music is born analog.
Well, guys, if you're enjoying my videos and you're enjoying my channel, please consider to subscribe by clicking the black and white logo here below. Also, don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll never miss an episode and you will become a true member of the analog community.